Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
I can hear
I
you.
heard you.
Thank you.
Do we have everybody here? Do we have a quorum tonight? Do we need one?
Yes, I think we do have a quorum.
Like we have one. I'm counting right now. By the way, my name is Michael Silbert. I'm filling in for Joe Sordillo this evening.
Hi, Michael. How are you?
Good to
So
be
we
here.
have 6 members. I think we're good.
Looks good.
We do have a quorum. The only person that we're missing that said they were coming was Tina.
Okay, everybody, it's now 7:30, and I would like to call to order tonight's Old Bridge Township Planning Board meeting for Monday, July 10th. And if we could, I'd like to rise and salute the flag. And Vina, do we have a flag? Or Danny?
Danny, can we put up the flag?
We do not have one handy, but I can grab one.
Keith has one, so I think we can start.
I pledge allegiance
To the
to the
flag.
flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Keith.
I will do the opening statement. Adequate notice of this meeting of the Old Bridge Township Planning Board of Adjustment has been provided in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act at least 48 hours prior to the commencement of the meeting by prominently posting in the municipal complex an announcement giving the time, date, location, and agenda of this meeting, mailing such announcement to the Home News Tribune, and filing such copy of announcement with the municipal clerk. Ms. Cannon?
Here.
Mr. Lennon?
Here.
Mayor Henry?
Here.
Mr. De Palma is absent. Mr. Lauer is absent. Mr. Renna, I don't think he is here. Mr. Petty, absent. Ms. Stella is absent. Mr. McIsaac,
Here.
Mr. Brennan,
Yeah.
and Chairman Marucci.
Here. And I'm trying the best I can to get this glare out of my glasses, but it doesn't seem to be working. I look like Tron or Terminator.
I believe Eric is present too. He just joined. I just promoted him to the panelist, Mr. De Palma.
You with us, Eric?
Yes, he is.
There he is. Okay, with Eric's arrival, we'll get started. And Vina, how do you just want me to announce number one?
Yes, I think so. And then I'll go over the explanation, and then we can vote on the first one and then move to the second one.
Great. Okay, so we're here tonight at the special meeting for consistency review. And the first on the agenda is the ordinance of the Township of Old Bridge adopting the Old Matawan Road redevelopment plan and amending the township zoning map.
Thank you, board members. First of all, thank you so much for giving your time for this special meeting. As you all know, the council has been conducting one meeting a month. So if we wouldn't have had this special meeting, then we would have to carry it to the next month. And especially the ordinance 250-107, which is off-track improvements, was critical. Nicole and I have been working on this ordinance for almost 8 months, and we wanted to keep this moving. We had Old Madawan Road redevelopment plan also on the agenda for second hearing tomorrow night. And so we wanted to finish the consistency review. Now, talking about the Old Madawan Road redevelopment plan, you may recall that in December of 2020, the planning board designated an area along Old Madawan Road comprising of 25 parcels as an area in need of redevelopment and rehabilitation. The plan that is in front of you tonight is exclusively related to one parcel known as Block 8002, Lot 13, within the Old Madawan Road redevelopment area, which contained the former Willis Avenue School. This school was closed by the Board of Education in 1982. In 1985, the Township Zoning Board of Adjustment approved an application to rehabilitate this two-story school building and add a third floor. The building was remodeled and then used for medical office use. There were some interior renovations done, completed later in 2002, and unfortunately, in 2007, a fire broke out and destroyed the top floor of the building. Later, the building was abandoned and left vacant for many years until 2021 when it was demolished. So when we updated our master plan re-examination report, there were several recommendations to evaluate areas within the township that could benefit from the redevelopment and rehabilitation criteria. This was one of those areas. So the master plan was it was adopted on September 22nd, 2017. It was last revised on April 28, 2022. Based on this master plan re-exam report, there were 2 recommendations that pertained specifically to this plan, and that was C1A, which talked about current and future redevelopment areas should be examined for their potential to revitalize areas and address future affordable housing obligations. Redevelopment plans present an opportunity to utilize vacant and abandoned or underutilized parcels for creating development opportunities as well as inclusionary housing. That was one. The second one was C2E, which pertains to the zoning for EDO. And this area actually currently is zoned as EDO1, and the recommendation was to expand or create greater flexibility and diversity through that would strengthen local economy and benefit this area. So the plan that is in front of you is consistent with the master plan recommendations, and the plan proposes to allow assisted living facility and independent, studio apartments on this parcel. So that's from my end. I'll take any questions if you have.
So can I just clarify? So that building is under construction now, right?
So what happened is the zoning board actually, after the area was designated, the property owner or the purchaser went ahead in front of the zoning board and got an approval for the assisted living facility and the studio apartments. However, they are interested in creating a pilot, but one of the regulations of the redevelopment law is unless you have a redevelopment plan in place, you cannot proceed with a pilot. And this is kind of, we're working backwards. Actually, we should have done the plan first, but they were ready to file. while. We already had pre-application meetings with the property owner. There was a lot of back and forth because the original proposal was for a 5-story building. They reduced it down, they reduced the density. We are benefiting by this project because there will be affordable units that will be created. So it's a truly inclusionary housing project. So, and with some of the affordable units also being age restricted. And that is why they're going through this plan.
Okay, but otherwise the neighborhood basically is going to remain intact. I mean, it just allows the residents that are there now to take advantage of certain things in order if they want to do home improvements and stuff, but there's not going to be any massive redevelopment of the area.
That is absolutely right.
Yeah, that redevelopment word is always scary to everybody.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you recall, because it's a while since we did the redevelopment study. This area was unique. The designation was for redevelopment and rehabilitation, so that homeowners that want to continue living there or want to improve their properties or improve their homes, they are that is helpful to those property owners too. So we haven't really started working on an entire redevelopment plan. There is nothing in pipeline yet. We haven't heard back from property owners, but what I have been hearing is right after the designation, the area has been improving. People have been remodeling their homes, and it is coming out to be pretty and nice. And I think this project will be an asset because the project, we require them to add sidewalks, street trees, landscaping. So the property has been vacant and abandoned, and especially in residential areas, when you have a vacant parcel, it could lead to activities that are not really healthy for the community. So now by redeveloping the property, this will increase the property values, and hopefully we'll see some economic growth there, especially with the commercial as well in the neighborhood.
I just had one other question. Does the area include that the part that sort of parallels Route 18 where the chop shop used to be, and there's a few stores, most of them I think are vacant?
Yes, the
so
study area, that is correct. The study area includes that. So the study area includes actually 25 parcels. Everything from the intersection of 516 and Old Madhavan Road until the ramp. So it includes all those properties. But again, this redevelopment plan, which is in front of you tonight, only pertains to one parcel.
Okay, any questions elsewhere? Okay, now Veena, do we have anybody calling in? This is not open to the public, correct?
No, this is just for consistency review with the planning board. The only one thing I noticed, and I did speak to Mr. Sotelo right before the meeting, Mr. Silbert, there is an edit to the resolution that was emailed to the board members. The second paragraph, it lists all the properties within the redevelopment area. But this plan pertains to only block 8002 lot 13. So we need to strike through all the other parcels.
Okay. Yeah, I see where it lists all of the lots and blocks, but then on the bottom of the page, it says that the redevelopment plan pertains solely to block 8002 lot 13.
Correct, but if you read the second paragraph, it implies that the plan is for properties identified, and then it lists all the properties.
Okay.
So we would have to just correct that to say property, or we would have to change that language to say that the redevelopment area includes 25 parcels, but this plan pertains to only one parcel.
Okay. Okay, not a problem. I'll make a note of that. And this has to be transmitted to the governing body by tomorrow, right?
That is correct.
Okay.
We have a meeting tomorrow night, the second hearing.
Okay. No problem. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, any questions from anybody else? Okay, now Veena, is Mr. Silbert going to summarize, or are you going to summarize before we call out the vote?
I think Mr. Silbert can quickly read the resolution and we can take a vote on it.
So I don't know if I have the ordinance here. I actually don't have a resolution for the planning board.
I can read it out.
I apologize for that. I
No, no
only have the
worries.
ordinance,
No worries.
which is why I wasn't following what you were saying, actually.
Okay,
The
no worries.
ordinance here.
Luckily, I have a copy. So, whereas the governing body of the Township of Old Bridge has referred ordinance 2023-15 to the planning board for consistency review per NJSA 40:55D-26 and NJSA 40A:12A-7. And whereas the planning board at a special meeting held on July 10, 2023, considered ordinance 2023-15, which adopts the Old Matawan Road 1 redevelopment plan for the property identified as block 8002, lot 13 in the township of Old Bridge, in parentheses, the redevelopment area, plan area. And whereas the planning board finds that the township's comprehensive master plan last re-examined September 22nd, 2017 as amended is consistent with the proposed zoning regulations and provide necessary protection for the health, safety, and welfare of the township. And whereas the planning board per NJSA 40:55D-26 determines that the proposed changes are consistent with the township's master plan last re-examined September 22nd, 2017 as amended, and now thereof be it resolved by the planning board of the Township of Old Bridge, County of Middlesex, and State of New Jersey, that ordinance 2023-15 adopting the Old Matawan Road 1 redevelopment plan for the redevelopment area is determined to be consistent with the master plan of the Township of Old Bridge per NJSA 40:55D-26. Be it further resolved that the board vice secretary provide an official copy of this resolution to the township attorney and the township clerk for transmittal to the governing body.
Okay, thank you, Vina. Does Mr. Silbert have anything to add to that before, to summarize before we go to vote?
Other than just letting Joe know to revise the resolution to ensure it's only citing the specific lot and block that is subject to this redevelopment plan, I don't really have anything to add.
Okay. All right, thank you, Mr. Silbert. And being that there is no public portion, we will just go to vote. So if I could get somebody
I'll make a motion.
to move it. Okay.
I'll
That is-
second.
Okay, moved by Mr. De Palma, second by Ms. Masella.
Was
Mayor,
Casey moved it and Mayor Henry seconded.
Okay, it's okay.
He's got better hair than me, Owen.
Hey, don't even go there.
Ms. Cannon,
yes.
Mr. Lennon,
Yes.
Mayor Henry,
Yes. Thank you, Vina. Great job.
Thank you.
Mr. De Palma,
Yes.
Ms. Masella,
yes,
Mr. McIsaac,
Yes.
Mr. Brennan,
Yes.
and Chairman Marucci.
Yes. Okay, now we move to number 2, which is the ordinance of the Township of Old Bridge amending Chapter 250 of the Code of the Township of Old Bridge entitled Old Bridge Township Land Development Code by amending Article 12, 250-107 entitled Off-Track Improvement.
Thank you, board members, again. This ordinance is really critical to us because, as you all know, there have been a lot of redevelopment efforts in the past 4 or 5 years. There have been, as part of the redevelopment efforts, there have been significant improvements to the circulation plan element and the infrastructure. This ordinance pertains to that section. So based on the township's land development ordinance, you may recall we require developers as condition of their site plan approval or subdivision approval to pay a pro rata share of the cost of providing reasonable and necessary street improvements and water, sewage, drainage facilities and easements thereof located outside the property limits of the development. Pursuant to the municipal land use law, municipalities adopt regulations such as these after the planning board adopts a master plan, circulation plan element, and a comprehensive utility service plan element. And then the governing body adopts an ordinance that establishes fair and reasonable standards and procedures to determine a developer's pro rata share. Until now, the township's fair and reasonable pro rata standards were based on a report which was prepared in 1980. It was prepared by Louis Berger and Associates, Inc. of East Orange, and it was entitled Methodology of Off-Site Pro Rata Analysis for Township of Old Bridge. It's a 1980 report. And this report utilized data based on the 1979 baseline traffic data, the population in 1979, the housing and employment patterns, and it projected population and housing and employment increase for 2000. So we are way behind on this report. It should have been done much sooner. So the report that is in front of you tonight is a modern update to this 1980 analysis. The report is based on baseline information and circulation network improvements and priorities recommended in the township's 2009 master plan, traffic and circulation plan, but also includes the numerous developments that have occurred in the last 20 years. So especially if you go through the report, the land use section includes all the GDPs, it includes all the redevelopment plans and projects that were approved by the planning and the zoning board. So the master plan re-examination report, which was done in 2017, recognizes and acknowledges that this circulation plan element is outdated and needs to be updated. So does the subsequent traffic pro rata share, which is in front of you. We have been, you may recall, all the redevelopment plans that were presented to the planning board had a circulation element. So it's not that we have not fixed the plan element and we're directly jumping to the pro rata. For important projects, we have been updating the circulation element in piecemeal. And I promise you that's something that is the next thing on my plate, to update the traffic and circulation plan, because I am to a certain extent embarrassed that our plan is based on 2009, when Old Bridge has done so much in terms of planning efforts and planning for the infrastructure. So it definitely needs to be updated, and that is on my to-do list. But we don't want to wait till we update the plan element. We want to get these numbers right so that the developers can pay the fair portion that they are obligated to pay to the township. So the report is consistent with the master plan re-examination. It is consistent with the 2009 circulation plan element, and it prioritizes roadways based on those recommendations made in the master plan.
Okay, anything else to add, Veena?
Nope.
No? Okay, with that, I'll put it out for questions. Any questions from the board members? Okay. And again, I guess we'll go to summary, either Mr. Silbert or Veena.
I can read the resolution, but pretty much it says that it is consistent with the master plan recommendations and the master plan re-exam recommendations. We are just updating a section of the land development ordinance, which is long past due for an update, but that's all the resolution says. So that's the summary.
Very good, thank you. Anything to add, Mr. Silbert?
Nothing to add.
Okay. And if there's no more questions, I'll put it out to vote. We'll have a motion
I'll move it.
by Mr. De Palma and a second
I'll second it.
by Mr. McGuire or Mr. Mayor Henry. Okay. I got this one right. Okay, thank you.
Second was Mayor Henry.
I believe so. It was a tie between him and Mr. McIsaac.
The mayor could have it any day.
Thank you.
All right. Ms. Cannon,
Yes.
Mr. Lenning,
Yes.
Mayor Henry,
Yes.
Mr. De Palma,
Yes.
Ms. Masella,
Yes.
Mr. McIsaac,
Yes.
Mr. Brennan,
Yes.
Chairman Marucci.
Yes.
Thank you so much, board members, for making this happen. Thank you. I really appreciate your efforts.
Okay, thank you for all your effort, Vina. And the agenda does call for general public comments, which I guess does not apply here. So I will ask for a motion to adjourn.
I'll move
Lennon
it.
will move it.
By, again, a tie between Ms. Cannon and Mr. Lenning.
Mayor
Well,
Cannon
no,
gets it.
Casey can have it.
Danny, I'll let you decide that one.
Casey can move it and I'll second it.
Okay, so moved by Casey and second by Barbara.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank
All
you.
right,
all.
everybody.
Thanks.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you,
Thank
everyone.
you, everyone.
Good night,
Good night,
everybody.
everyone.
Everybody.
Good night.
Good night. Thanks for having me.
Let's see.